Well, my name is Rose, Chung Lono. Everybody here at Puʻuhunua calls me Auntie Loke. I'm the coordinator for our donation center, and I came here in 2009, 2010. We bought a home about 3 years prior to 2009 in Waipahu. It was great. I was a carpenter. My husband was a laborer. Um, uh, Life was great. Everybody was home. You know, we had all four kids with their significant others and their babies and whatnot, and we lived in a beautiful home in Waipahu. 3 years came up. We were doing grand up until 2009 recession hit. A lot of us construction workers, laborers, and stuff, we ended up sitting on the bench. I sat on the bench for about 2 years after that. It took a while. You know, there were jobs here and there, you know, sporadic jobs, maybe 1 week, 2 week. I went to every job call there was early in the mornings. You know, my husband would go laborers union, I would go carpenters union, sit. We would get jobs here and there. It was all right. You know, it helped pay the bills. But prior to that, we were so comfortable because we had, you know, income was in. We didn't have to worry. You know, we'd go to the store, we'd have to look in our purses and tell our babies, oh, not today. You know, that's how comfortable we were. We were able to go ahead and if our babies wanted something from McDonald's, hey, it was cool. We could just go and get it. Today, you know, it's like, okay, well, we gotta kind of save the pennies now. But when the recession hit, my husband sat on the bench. I sat on the bench. It took a little toll on us. Our children tried their best to continue to pay the mortgage in the home, and just couldn't afterwards. You know, when you come to finances, especially when it's other people's money, it comes really, really tight, and then it becomes where you can start scrapping. Oh, you know, you got to pay this bill, got to pay that bill. You know, but before then, it wasn't like that. Mommy and daddy was the biggest breadwinners in the house. When mommy and daddy lost the income, that's when the fighting started coming in. The disagreeing of, oh, this got to get paid, that got to get paid, the baby's got to eat, got to do this, got to do that. The strain just came hard. Yeah, so one day we ended up foreclosing, and during that time, every day you would look at the newspaper, you got over 100 houses on foreclosure, and ours were what was ended up being one of them in the papers. So we couldn't. We just ended up going home to my parents, who lives in Nanakuli. We stayed there for a little bit. Um, Things got tight again. You know, when you live under other people's rules, it makes it really hard. Yeah. So, and even if it's my parents, yeah, when you have your own family, it becomes your role when you're under your roof. Then when you come home, you got to be under daddy and mommy's rules, and it was kind of a little bit strenuous, but we managed. Um, One day, my son came home and he said, "Ma, let's go check." I said, oh, "Okay." So hear me thinking, we're gonna go look for homes. We're gonna go in between the lanes and see if there's any for rent homes and stuff. My son started going from one beach to another beach to another beach on the Waʻianae coast. And I looked at him. We stopped at Soars and Miley, and I told him, I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Looking for a place." I said, "Wow, this is homeless encampments you're going to." He goes, "Mom, the best we can do is save our money right now and just pray to the Lord that things will happen." I'm the kind of a person that if I'm in dire need, I'm not going to put my kids in that. I pushed them and pushed them because they had jobs. So I pushed them to get their own place. Yeah, instead of being with mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy can survive. We can handle each other. We can, we've been married for over 30 some odd years. We've been together for over 40. So it's like, okay. We ended up first at Nanakuli, Ulihava Beach Park across the BK. We stayed there for about 6 months. There was a suite. We hit the suite. We 1 month before the suite, we ended up moving to another area, which is called Guardrails in Miley. We stayed there for 7 months. There was a suite. In that suite, we ended up by the dump, Waʻianae dump, and couldn't handle it. 2 days, my dogs didn't even like it there. They were just barking every night. So for 2 days that we were there, I said that's it. My husband got sick, took him to my parents' home, let him, rest there. Got my kids, got their friends, and we ended up just, my husband told me about here that him and his friends came here looking for a place. Explained to me where the place was. Well, we walked all the way in, and it's around this corner. That's the first bend. That's where we were at first when we came here. Then I hear people telling me, "Well, you can't just move in. You gotta go see Twinkles." And I'm like, "Okay, you know." But I went and talked to the harbor master. He was the first one that told me the name Twinkle. From there, it was like, okay, so started setting up 2 weeks and stuff. And the first person I met, she came. She goes, "You gotta go see Twinkles. You need to go." And she's kind of like on the sideline over there. and and I was like, but I spoke with the guy in the office, and she said, she looked at me. She went, "Oh, okay," and she left. So her significant other came too, and then he told me the same thing, and I told him the same thing. He went, "Oh, okay." He left. Within that 2 weeks of time of setting everything up and whatnot, I finally was able to meet Twinkles, only because I had three granddaughters that was going to Kamaile Elementary. Every day they would come and they would stay in a cafe out there. And when they came home, they wouldn't eat dinner. So I was like, "What's going on?" "Oh, but Big Mama have us eat in there." And at that time, Twinkles was working in the cafe here. So I said, I gotta go meet this lady. And before I met her, we never met each other. Now you tell me who's going to give their heart, give you a generator for your kids so that there was light in your camp. Now, mind you, I had 3 generators. She still gave it to me. And I was like, "Sister, I get it." What captured my heart here was when we bought everything in, we were tired that night. Everybody was just pooped. We just had camps up here and there. The next morning, all our furniture is still there. Our pillow top beds were still there. 3 generators, surfboards, boogie boards. The kind that, is like $400-500 kind of worth stuff was still out here like this in the front. And nothing was taken. That captured my heart by telling me, "You're going to be safe here. You're going to be fine here." When I finally met Twinkle, then she didn't have this short hair. She had long hair, and she has this distinctive white hair, a patch of white hair, and that's her birthmark. And I thought that was so beautiful. I thought that mark was so beautiful on her. And we just clicked. We just, and then as time goes on, you got to feel yourself, you know, living here. It's a challenge. It's still a houseless encampment. There's still things that goes on in here that will go on anywhere. Yeah, even in the best neighborhoods, it still goes on. But who are we or myself to judge anyone? What goes on behind your closed doors is you. Yeah, what's in the front of me is me. But it's up to me to make the choice of saying something about it. I ended up loving everybody here. Um, I ended up being the number 13, 14, and 15 camp because I had a big family when we moved in. Um, and we just fused. I mean, everybody here just fused with each other. Um, as time went on, Keaus got swept. 97 camps from there came this way. So we ended up with a big number of amount of people. So from there, that's when Twinkles and I started kind of working together to try to organize, because even if the camps came here, there was a big amount of bodies that also came. So with 97 camps, you got more than 200 something people coming this way. But we never shut the doors, you know. Um, in all, to begin with, It started off with 5 women, Twinkles, myself, Tita, Chrissy, and Marsha. We were the 5 women that actually had to try to get all that monotonous. Everybody was fighting, of course, because they had to move. When you get swept, you don't know where you're going from there. Um, and then you end up on edge. Yeah, so then you end up arguing with each other. So we ladies went out, try to stop them and say, hey, you guys need help? We here. We're going to help you folks. We kind of got some of the men together, started helping these guys move in. So started making areas. And for us, we already, prior to that, we already was living here for like 2 years. And my husband and I, we play horseshoes. We're with the Horseshoe Association. And playing with them for 2 years, they never knew that we lived here. They thought there was an apartment building in here. Because of the way that it was surrounded, you could never tell that there was people that lived in this bush area. So, and they go, so, with everything that came down, Twinkle stayed on top of it. She was already on it to begin with. She was already the po'o of this place, the head of the place. And she already was putting down her, just small rules so that everybody was safe. But she was always about helping the next person or anybody that was in help. Even if she was mad with them, she like lick them or whatever. But she couldn't help but wrap her arms around them. And that's something that it's rare. You can't find that. There's that type of rare quality in some of us, but not all of us, and not like someone like her. She started from there. She started growing and just growing. She surrounded herself with a lot of positive people that was there to back her with her dreams. Go big or go home. And she just from there she just started learning, educating herself, getting more into it. I started to go with her, but I'm not one to go full force in the front. I kind of stayed behind of her, and I constantly stay behind of her. Whenever she needs something, she calls me, and she knows I can get that one, or I can do this for her, and whatever. She'll call me and she'll tell me what and what. But when it comes to the professional area, she'll leave it to her professionals. But she has grown so much, and not just her alone, but in her mana'o, her growth of learning, her education. She had pushed herself to learn beyond, and that's how we are how we are today. Now we've got a village that's being finally excavated. Things are it's slowly progressing, but it's getting there. It's going to get there, and for her to actually been spearheading a lot of these things, her people that she had surrounded herself with has always been there for her on a positive note, and she's always been there for them. She can be difficult though. She can be, because she's a kind of a woman that when she says something now, if she snap here, it better be there. In a minute. It's like, hey, lady, give me some time. But she knows it's going to get done one time or another. And she's a kind of she pushes, but for all good things. And my theory has always been, if you give somebody purpose, they will always give you back tenfold, maybe 11. And I think that kind of rubbed off on her too. So we starting to work with people and give them purpose in the life that they live here. And so that's why the village became who we are today.